Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to take a simple character available on a free downloaded website, a website you can download for free, and we're going to rig it, set it up, and get a full 360-degree head hopefully going with some accessories and different ideas. Please do like and subscribe to be notified of each video that I upload as I go through this character, and it's the process of setting it up for animating. Without further ado, do look in the description for the link to download this file, and let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is find a character that I like. In this case I used FreePick, and I searched farmer character, and the reason I like this is because there's all the pieces right there that I need. The only thing I'll have to edit is the torso, and so I'm going to go ahead and download that. I'm going to go into my folder here and I'm going to do a new folder and call it Farmer Joe. Why not? And I'm going to take that downloaded file and move it into here and create a new folder called Artwork. So we're going to store the artwork. Okay. Unzip that zip file that I downloaded. And then we have a JPEG and the EPS. I'm going to use the EPS in Illustrator. Okay. Bada bing. There we have the Illustrator file. Let me close the one I was previously in. Now whenever I do this, the first thing I always do is save a copy. So I have original. I'm going to call this edited. Now I know this is my edited version. And then I'm going to get rid of some shadows here. I don't need these shadows. I guess we don't need to get rid of them, but it's just a habit. I do like the shadow. Maybe if I need them, I can go back to the original and get them. But if I need them for future, that would be kind of nice to have a shadow following them around the hip layer. That would actually be something we could do. All right. So the nice thing about these pre-mades is they're all set up basically for animation. And to show you that, let's go ahead and get a character going as fast as we can with Farmer Joe here. So the first thing I always like to do with any software, especially with this one, Cartoon Animator 4, is to export a working template. And in this case, let's export one of our vector actors here, character. We have the humans. This time I'm going to go with the vector buddies, because I feel like this is more of a vector buddy character, and that might help us a little bit more. I want a front one that kind of has similarities, but it doesn't have to. Let's use Harry. I've never used Harry before. All right, so I've got Harry. I'm going to go to composer mode and launch in PSD editor. There we go. And this is where most of the bulk of the work is going to be, is just getting things to where they need to be and fine-tuning them. So now they've got Photoshop open. I'm going to open back up Illustrator, and we're going to take in one piece at a time. Now, let's go ahead and start with this leg. I'm going to hit V for selector tool, and it looked like it selected everything. So that's not going to help us here. So what I need to do is I need to open up this layer and this group. And first, it looks like they didn't group. Well, maybe they did. They did group a little bit here. So what I like to do is I like to take all of these groups and move them outside of that group into the layer. That way, when I hit V for selector tool, let me unselect everything. Okay, V. If I hit this leg, it'll just select this leg. But let's show you the problem. If I drag this in, look how tiny that is. We could resize everything as we put it in, but I don't want to do that. I want to do it once. So let's go into Illustrator. Let's get our model here. Let's drag him in. Let's resize him, shift, and click and drag. Okay, get him to where the size that I want. I want him to be nice and big. That looks good. Hit enter. And now, if I drag Illustrator over a little bit over here, I take this guy back into here. And now I know I'm back in Illustrator. I'm going to get Command 0 to zoom, and then Command negative. It's Control on a PC. And now I know that's how big I need my character. So I'm going to go Object with that selected. Artboard, fit to selected art. Boom, now I have the artboard fit to that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this character. I'm going to put him in the very bottom layer here. And I'm going to turn his opacity down to 50 and lock him. There. Now I know that's how big I need things in my Photoshop file. So I could take everything and let's just see how this does. select it, and I'm just going to match it. I'm holding shift and clicking and dragging. And this way, everything is the right size. Well, not necessarily. He's the right size here, but everything else is not. So I'm going to drag him over here, leave him there, take everything else, and match the sizing. Like, for example, his leg here. And I'm going to hit A to get rid of this white piece, delete. I'm going to get rid of this. If I need these, I can go to the original file and get them. Now select everything again, except for you, dude. A selector tool, click and drag. Command minus and plus on a Mac, Control minus and plus on a PC to zoom in and out. And I'm using space bar to click and drag around. And I'm just kind of moving things until I get that size. That is perfect. I'm going to just leave it as that. Now I need to get this artwork back into here. I'm going to do Command All, A for all, and it's Control A on a PC. And then I can go Object, Artboard, Fit, Selected Art. There we go. Now I have the correct sizing, so I'm going to go down and turn off my template, dude. Okay, great. Now that I have the correct sizing, I can come back in here, and I'm going to leave this this dude here that I had. Let me go into Photoshop, because I want to use him as a template in Photoshop. So I'm going to do 50% opacity, and I'm going to lock him. So then I have a place to put things as I drag things in from Illustrator. Let's start with this leg. We're going to do this weird, well, let's start, it's hard to say. I always like to start with the front view, then we'll do the 45 and then the 90 and then the back. Looks like there's a back 45 and then the back. So let's start with the front view. I'm going to drag in the front view this time. Okay. Enter. Turn off this other one, unlock it, delete. 50% on this guy. Opacity, lock. Now let's go in and get the pieces we need. Illustrator. Now we're going to need this leg here. Let's just drag it in. I take that back. Let's go see. We could use that leg, but it looks like this is the leg we're going to need. Right there. Now that's not going to work for me because of the angle. So we could edit it here in Illustrator or edit it in Photoshop. Now because it's a vector and it's already here, it's definitely going to be easier, less cumbersome to edit it here in Photoshop. So we're almost ready with this character. So let's come in here and edit his leg. First leg is this one. Now there's a problem. This leg needs to go like this. And there's an easy way you can do it. There's lots of ways you can do this. I use the A tool for the direct selector tool, the letter A on the keyboard by default. And I can move this point here. What is this called? This is called the handle. And I could do the same thing here, but it doesn't have a handle. So if I hit P, Alt, and that didn't work. It's supposed to, but it's not going to. So I'm just going to add one. So P, I'm going to add a point. I almost had it there. See the little plus there? And then A, and I can click and drag. And I'm not going to want it to be that pointy. So I'm going to go ahead and click that little, the way I did that is I hit a direct selector. I clicked on this path right here in the corner. See how if I click on the shape, it selects all these. I don't want that. I just want this one in the corner. Then I'm going to use this smoothing rounding tool. And that's how I want it to look. Now, this pocket needs to go inside this pant leg. So I'm going to take this pant leg. I'm going to hit search. It's going to find it for me. There it is. I'm going to duplicate that layer, that path. And I'm going to take this pant pocket. I'm going to put it beneath the duplicated layer. Shift click so those are both selected. Command 7 on a Mac. Control 7 on a PC. And what that's done is put this pocket layer inside a clipping mask. So now if I delete this layer underneath, you don't see anything, but what I've created is a clipping mask right here. And that clipping mask is important because you can draw anything inside of it. So for example, I'm going to use the rectangle tool. I'm just going to do bigger than the actual leg itself. Okay. And I'm going to drag it down into this clipping group underneath everything right there. I'm going to select it. I for eyedropper, pant colors, boom. So what I've done is I've created this giant square inside a clipping mask. So now it doesn't matter what shape I move this pant leg to. Oops, A, there we go. It'll have that color beneath it because of this square that I put inside this clipping mask. All right, so that actually looks good. The only problem is I want the pocket to extend all the way up because if his leg moves out of the way, then that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to hit P for pen tool. And rather than redo this and try to get it exactly, hit, A for selector tool, then P for pen tool. Then you hold down Alt, click and drag on that point. Now my full pocket's in view. And so if his leg comes out, it'll see the whole pocket there. Great. That leg's looking good. When I'm finished with something here in Illustrator and I like it and it looks good, I'm going to separate that boot, and I'll do that in just a minute. I'm going to bring it to the very top, and I'm going to name it. This is going to be leg left. Now, I could set it up to where I do different boots and different things, different leg pieces. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it as one leg. And what that would look like in Photoshop, let me just drag it over here. Enter. Delete the previous one. Open up RL image. I want the left thigh. I'm going to bring it down in here. I'm going to delete the previous one, but I have to delete the left foot as well and the left shank, which doesn't have. That's fine. So now I'm going to move it in onto the template. I'm going to hit save. And what that's done is it'll overwrite his leg here. Yep. And if I do preview, I've got Mr. Farmer's leg, and that actually looks pretty good. Okay, and we'll do some testing later when we get it all rigged up. But it's fun to see back and forth with Cartoon Animator. So let's go back into Photoshop and then back into Illustrator. Now I'll just duplicate it for the other side. Don't need to worry about it. Let's work on the arm. Let's see if this arm is anywhere. I'm going to hit search. Boom. There's the arm and the hand. So I'm going to move this arm all the way up to the top. I'm going to call it arm L. And I'm going to take off the hand because I want to use different hands. I mean, this looks good and all, and it looks like I forgot the arm hair. So we're going to have to go back and get that. Search. There they are. Don't want to forget the arm hair. That's important on this farmer lumberjack dude. And let's put it inside on top. Very good. Now he's got his arm hair in this correct spot and position. Now I need to cut his arm to where this hand isn't there. So I'm going to select this by hitting A, clicking on it, and then I'm going to go to the knife tool, which is under the eraser tool. And I'm going to start outside so I get a clean cut and just go like that. And now I have a separate hand. So if I open up this arm folder, I'm going to pull out this hand, and I'm going to take the shadows with it. Command G or Control G on a PC. Take out the hand. I'm going to call this hand L and just one because there's probably going to be multiples. And now if I turn off the hand, we should have an arm, but that's not very smooth. So I'm going to want to smooth that arm out. I'm going to zoom in, Command plus or Control plus on a PC, and I'm going to smooth this out. I'm going to use P for pen tool, delete that, and I'm going to delete one of these. Probably both of them. And then I should have a nice smooth nub. And that's kind of what I want, is that nub right there. So we can put a hand on there. And that looks good. So I'm going to grab the arm. And I'm going to bring that arm over. Now before I do that, it looks like we need to work through this arm a little bit here. We'll do that. And I like to be able to select this arm first so it gets me to the right folder. So let's go back to Illustrator and let's fix this arm real quick. Now we're going to want this arm to have some curve to it, so I hit A for direct selector tool, P for pen tool, and I'm going to add a point there with that plus, A for selector tool, and let's give it a little bit of depth there, and let's hit P for pen tool, Alt. Okay, I'm going to fix this side first, and then I'm going to hit A for selector tool, and it looks like we're going to add P for pen tool and add another point here. A for direct selector tool, and I think that will do it. Now we want to finish these off, so I'm going to hit A for selector tool. I'm going to grab this guy, bring it out, grab this guy, bring it out, and I could try just resizing them, but I don't think that would look good, so I'm just going to extend them. Same with this, shift select on those with the direct selector tool, and then select you, bring them back out, select you. Use this handle to bring it back. It looks like I need to go further. There we go. Same with you, but you I'm just going to drag, and to do that I hit shift on those to grab both of them with the direct selector tool, and I'm just using point by point here in Illustrator. And I'm going to do the same thing with you. A for selector, direct selector tool. Whoops, get that point. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Command plus or Control plus on a PC. And bada bing. Now let's grab this one. And you'll notice I'm being messy, not exact, because I'm going to do a clipping mask where I don't have to worry about wasting my time being exact on these stripes. This plaid design. Okay, and I'm just using Shift and Direct Selector tool. Very good. So it looks like I just missed the one here. Let's get you out there and give you a little bit of curve. And voila. So now I need to grab this shape here, hit search to find it, create a copy, and I'm going to take these designs and I'm going to move them underneath that copy. Shift click that copy, Command 7 on a Mac, Control 7 on a PC. And what that did is it put them inside a clipping mask. Now again, to give you an idea, I'm going to delete this sleeve, go grab the shape tool and just draw a massive square over it all, bring that inside the clipping mask, and now I have that color behind the clipping mask there. If I ever needed to edit the shape or anything, it's there. It's just easier that way. Okay. And it looks like I need to go move that back out this way. Very good. So now there's our arm. I'm going to select this whole arm. I'm going to bring it on over. Put it in its place. Right about there. Delete the old arm. Okay. Looking good. And then once I get the torso, we'll do some arm tests, see if we need to modify it at all, but I think we're going to look good. Now let's go get the torso, because we're just going to copy that arm over to the other side when we're done. So let's go back into Illustrator. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Let's take this other arm and move it out of the way. I'm going to hit search. There it is. I just want to see the torso. Boom. And these are just keyboard shortcuts that I'm using again and again. It looks like that was interesting, like a thumbnail or something. I don't know. Artist garbage is what I call it. Delete. Okay, so now we need to get this torso. So to do that, I'm going to turn off this leg as well. Or not turn it off. Let's just move it. You as well, my friend. Now I could just take this whole guy and move over, move him up here, and then why don't I do that? This is the guy I'm working on. I'm going to bring him to the very top, so I'm not having to scroll. Right there. Very good. Ooh, does he come with hands? I didn't even look. He does. See, that's important. He's got hands. This will be great, and some mouths as well. So this is going to be a perfect one. All for free. And it's fun to create this and get used to the software and get good at it. All right, so now I'm going to take this torso here. Now to do the torso, let's go find this head here. I'm not going to use this head right here because I've got all the heads up here. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this head off in here. And now I've got his neck. Now, his neck is part of the torso, and it's important that it's got a nub, so that's not going to work. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a path right in the center. And I did that by, here, let me go back. A, select direct selector tool, select that. P for pen tool. Make sure the plus shows up. Hit enter, then alt. I'm going to give it and hold down shift to snap it. I'm going to put it all the way to those points. And then A for direct selector tool. And I'm just going to bring it up like this. Now the reason this is important, I'm going to shrink that side a little bit. I could even do pen tool and delete. I like that better. Is when we set it up in Cartoon Animator, you're going to want that nub for the head to connect to. And I'll show you that once we get to that point. Now this neck, I don't like it. It's going to go underneath all this. I don't like that it's, that's not bad. I don't know if I like it there. I think I'm going to keep it there. Let's see what he looks like. Yeah, let's keep it behind there. I think that works. We may just swoop this down a little bit. Then again, I changed my mind. Let's put it back out. There we go. Great. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's just select this. I hit V for select. Now the arm's still in there, so I'm going to turn off the arm here. I just want the torso here. Where's the leg? And turn off the leg. There. Command Z. Group that, bring it on out, and call this torso. Now I don't like with Cartoon Animator, unless you're really specific, I don't like the sharp corners here, so I'm going to select this here. I'm I'm going to round this off. Okay, now that didn't do anything, and this is why. Let's go into here, find this path, and it looks like this path is a shadow, so I chose the wrong path. So I'm going to get out of there, and what I probably should do is select this entire undershirt here and create a clipping mask. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate and select everything that I want to be inside of this clipping mask by holding down Shift. I don't want those. I do want this. These are all the buttons, and those are the belts. I don't want those. What are these down here? Looks like I didn't need those. Those are the belt holes. I'm not sure where that one's at. What about that one? Okay. I'm going to group all that. I'm going to pull it down underneath that duplicate path. Shift, click, Command 7. Create a clipping mask. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this like we have before. I'm going to create a big old square like this and bring that inside the clipping mask I just made like so. Put it underneath. And now if I edit this clipping mask, it doesn't matter what I do because I've got that red underneath. Okay, so undo, undo. Now let's smooth that out. Direct selector tool, grab that little piece there and smooth it out. Boom. And just to make sure to see how it looks, yeah, I think that'll work out just fine. Okay, now we have a good like Mr. Humpty Dumpty smooth section for the torso. Now let's come in here, click on his torso, so we're in the right folder, right there. His hip, excuse me, which is his torso. Let's move this into place. There we go. Now we have him with his belt. We may come back and separate his belt from his body if we want to try to make that an accessory, but for simplicity's sake, we're going to leave it in this time. All right, we're done with the body, so before we go on, let's delete this hip group and let's duplicate, whoops, let's duplicate the leg here. Edit, transform, flip horizontal, Command T or Control T on a PC. Move that into place and put it in the right thigh. Delete the other template right thigh. Go to the right foot. We don't have any feet in this. The left foot we've already deleted. Very good. Now let's get his left arm and duplicate it. And then we'll put it in his right arm. Okay. And then let's delete the other dude's right arm. Then edit, transform, flip horizontal, Command T, Shift, move over into place. Thank you very much. Great. So let's take his hand. And let's just, before I delete these, I like to keep them because the names are going to be important. Real Illusion uses each of these names. So it's important to have them on hand. Pun intended there. But let's go ahead and move bones first. Then we'll test the hands and get those going next. I just like to make sure we're moving along correctly. So I'm going to click this at left foot, Shift, and click while I'm holding down Shift. Move them to here. Unclick, and then click on this one. Move it to the nub, and I'm going to put it there for the boot. I actually think that looks good because I'm not planning on doing other shoes for this guy. This is just a character to put together. All right, that actually looks pretty good there. Let's move this. His shank needs to start right there. I've been told it's better to slightly put it towards the outside of the leg. It bends better that way. As I've worked this, I'm going to turn off the hip. Going to move this left thigh joint here. Right thigh, I'm going to match it using those pink guidelines. There they are. About there. The hip is going to be right about there. The torso, right about there. The neck starts right here. The head will be right about there, and the head nub will be at the top of this thing that we created here. Now if I hit save, you're going to see a working body. Oh, I didn't do the arms, just the legs. So we come back here. Oh, he looks like Quasimodo. This is great. So now if I do this, that's not going to work. I should have done the legs. I'm working on the legs, silly. Very good. Oh, that's beautiful. You know, I think that's actually nice. It does show a little bit of his leg, but I think that's okay because his belly's kind of like in the way. Very good. And his arms need to go behind his back. So I'm going to go unpreview there. Go Go back to Photoshop. Zoom out, Command 0 or Control 0 on a PC. Now let's hurry and fix his arms, the bone arms. So let's come in here. Let's find his hand nub will be there. His hand will go right there. And then we have his forearm be in the center here. And then we have, zoom out here, where did his other arm go? What's this? Left arm. Go right here. Now we take and we do the opposite, the right arm. Match the left arm. And then we've got the forearm. Let's match the other one right there. And we've got this guy. Match the one on the other side. And that guy. Okay. Zoom out, save. Come in here. Check his arms. Preview. Now, oops, preview. Let's go try that one more time. I hit undo, save. Let's just go move. And it looks like Photoshop crashed on us. So, I've never had Photoshop crash on us before like this. So let's see what happened when we crashed. Hopefully yours didn't crash. So I'm going to turn off preview. I'm going to open it up in Photoshop again. Those same defaults. And typically that's why I save a Photoshop file, so I have a backup. Looks like someone kicked me out. One of my kids, most likely. All right. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back into here. Let's fix those bones again. We were working on the bones. And zoom in. There's those bones. Why are they all 20%? There we go. Not sure why they're 20%. So let's move this one again. We'll just put that one there for now. Put you here. And you here. Let's turn off the face so I can see what I'm doing. In that ear. And that ear. And the hip. And let's turn off the back hair. And this front here. Match that one, okay. Match that one. Match that one. And match that one. Now, if I hit save. There we go. Preview. That's looking good, but I'll put his arm. Lumberjacks are tough, or farmers are tough. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, great. Join me in the next video and we will rig this character's face. Please like and subscribe. See you in the next video.